Hey guys, Netherite Dev here, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I bring to you the ability system and how to make Slap Battles game part 3. So we made 3 abilities. The default glove is a fart ability. I know, it's so cool. The second glove we made so we can give your enemy slowness. So if I hit this guy right here, once I get back up, you can see that I am slowed down until the effect wears off. I can do it again, and you can see that I am slowed down. And for the red one, the famous bus. Bye! All of these abilities are E to activate, except for the second one. And if you're on phone, you even have this little ability button. And when you click it, oh, so does the ability. Congratulations to Archrichboy07 for winning today's daily giveaway. I hope you enjoy your 15 Robux. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the video. Bye! Alright guys, so I am in our Slap Battles game right now. The first thing we're going to do is in replicated storage, we're going to create a remote event. This is going to be important later in the video, and we're going to rename it to ability event. Alright. Oh, and also we also need to edit these ability signs to match our ability that we're gonna have, so you can get the hands mesh part and open up the details, and we can change the text of the ability. This one is going to be fart blast, just like that. You can close it and then open up this the GUI right here, and we can set the ability to slowness. Alright, and then lastly we can just open up the mesh part and set the ability to be buzz. So there we go. Now we have our GUIs updated with our abilities, which is pretty good. Now what we're gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna close workspace, but we can open up starter player, and in starter player script we can add in a local script. So we're gonna delete our print hello world, and the first thing we're gonna do is create a variable for input service. So local input service is going to be equal to game :get service user input service. There we go. So now we're gonna check when an input has begun. So we're gonna do input service dot input began connect function, and you can set the parameter of it to be input. Now we're gonna do if input dot user input type is equal to enum dot user input type dot keyboard. Then, so we're checking if the player is on a computer. Local key is going to be equal to input dot keycode. Alright, now we're also going to get the glove that the player has equipped. So local equip is going to be equal to script dot parent wait for child equip. So what we have done so far is we're just getting input service, and we're checking when the player has pressed the key. We're checking if the player's on the keyboard, and then we're getting the key they clicked, and then we're getting the leader stats value that we added last episode for our equipped value. Alright, this is going to be how we know which ability to use. So now we're gonna check which key our player has used, and this is where you're going to decide which key you want your abilities to use. So if key equal to enum dot keycode dot, and then here is where you're going to choose your key. So I'm just going to do E, just like the game. Then, so we're checking if they press the E key. We can create a variable for our event. So local event, event ability, it's going to be equal to game :get service. You can get replicated storage :wait for child ability event. Alright, so now here is where we get to scripting part of our ability. So we're going to do if equipped dot value equal to 1 then. So now we're going to check which glove we have equipped so we can work on our ability and holding, not in the lobby and holding the glove. So if equipped dot value is going to be equal to 1 and script dot parents dot parent dot character, there we go, colon find first child, and we're going to get equipped dot value then. So what this line is doing is we're checking which glove they have equipped, and we're also making sure that they have the glove in their hand. This is what this is doing, is they're making sure that their glove is in their hand so they can't activate it from the lobby or when they're just not holding the glove. So now we're gonna set our cooldown. So local cooldown is going to be equal to let's just do 3. So you can set your cooldown to however much you want, and this is just your cooldown for your ability. Then we're just going to fire our event. So event colon fire server, and we're going to send the equipped and the cooldown. Actually, we don't need to send the cooldown, we only need to send the equipped, so we're just going to fire the equipped.
So if you don't know what fire server is, it's basically it's activating this ability, which we will script in a little bit, and it's sending whatever script the equipped. It'll make more sense in a little bit.
So then we're going to disable the script so we can't use it again till the end of our cooldown. So script.disabled equals true. We're going to wait our cooldown, and we're going to do script.disabled equals false. Alright, so we're firing the equipped right here. We're firing the event, and this is just waiting. This is disabling our script till our cooldown is over, so we can't do our ability again till our cooldown is ended. So now in server script service, we're going to add in a script which we can go ahead and rename to ability handler. And don't worry, we still have more abilities for this script later, but we're only doing one ability at a time. So we can delete the hello world, and we're going to create a variable for the ability event. So local event equals game colon get service replicated storage colon wait for child ability event, like that. So whenever the event is fired, we're going to connect a function. So event dot on server event, we're going to connect a function, and the parameters are going to be the player and the equipped that we sent over.
So again, what this was doing is it was sending a message to this script right here about the equipped value.
So we're going to set a variable for the character. So local char is equal to player dot character, just like that. So now we're going to check the value of equipped. So if equipped dot value is equal to 1 then. So if we're doing our first glove, so again our first event is a fart blast. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to get a fart sound effect. So in our toolbox we can change it from models to audio, and we can just search up fart. Alright, let's see this one. Oh, it's perfect, right? So once you find your audio, you can click insert, and you're gonna find your fart and wherever it spawned in. You're just gonna move it to server storage. Alright, so once you have your fart in server storage, you can just go ahead and rename it to fart. Alright, make sure there's no spaces. So now that we have our fart sound effect in server storage, we're actually going to set the parent of it to the player. So it's like the player's making the noise, So local fart is going to be equal to game.server storage wait for child. We're gonna get fart. Alright. Then we're gonna clone it. So local cloned fart is equal to fart clone fart dot parent is going to be equal to char dot humanoid root part. And then lastly, we're just gonna play it. So we're gonna play the sound effect. Then you're gonna wait for a little bit. So let's just do wait 10 seconds. And then we're just gonna destroy the fart. So fart destroy. Just 10 seconds here is just to make sure that the fart has already played. Alright. So then after the fart plays, we're just gonna destroy it. What this is doing is it clones the fart in server storage. And it's just the parent of it to the player. It plays it, and after 10 seconds it's just gonna destroy it. So if we test out our first ability, guys, never mind, there's actually a mistake. Instead of fart destroy, we're gonna do cloned fart destroy. We don't want to destroy the fart, we want to destroy the cloned fart. Alright, so now if we play it and test out our first ability, once we click on this and walk into the portal, you get a glove, and we click E, and it plays our sound effect. Perfect. Just what we wanted. And of course, we try to spam it. It only plays it once every 3 seconds. Alright, so now we're going to move on to our second event, which is slowing down our enemies. Now this one is a bit different because it's not actually in the script right here, which you can actually go ahead and rename to input handler, right? So it's not actually in the input handler, it's going to be in our hit handler itself. So if we open up server storage, open up our hands, you're gonna get whatever hand you want your slowness ability to be for, and you can go ahead and open it up. You're gonna open up the handle, and you're gonna get the hit handler. So first thing we're gonna do is on line 36, we're going to set some variables. So we're gonna set our slowness time. So local slowness time is going to be equal to 5, and you're doing this in seconds, by the way. So slowness time in seconds, alright? So this is just going to be however long you want your slowness time to last for. We're going to do local slowness speed, alright? So what this is going to do is it's going to set the speed of your enemy to whatever number you click, right? Or whatever number you put. The normal player speed is 16, so you're going to want to have it less than 16. So local slowness speed, let's just do 6, alright? So 10 less. And local current speed, so this is going to set the speed of your player. So a normal player goes 16. But if you have a speed faster than that, you're just going to do something more. So now we're just going to move, now that we have our parameters set up, or not our parameters, our variables, we can go all the way down to the bottom, this part right here. So we're going to do, so after line 63, we can do echar dot humanoid dot walk speed is going to be equal to slowness speed, alright? And then after line 67, we're going to do wait, and we're going to do slowness time minus 2.4. So what this is we're waiting our slowness time, or time to player slowness in seconds, minus this wait right here.
Because that would give them an extra 2.4 seconds if we didn't do this part right here. Oops. So this is waiting 2.4 seconds up here to disable the script. That's the cooldown for the script. So we're waiting the slowness time minus the cooldown, alright? Which is basically waiting our cooldown, so don't worry about that. Our slowness time, I mean.
Right? And then we can just do echar dot humanoid dot walk speed is going to be equal to current speed. So now if we test this out with 2 players, right? So I've grinded 10 slaps. If I were to equip the green glove and walk down the portal, and if I were to slap this player here, once he get back up, you can see that he is slow, and then once the cooldown is over, he is fast again. So if I slap him again and get up, you can see that he is slow again, and you can see that he is slow again. So it does work the way we wanted it to. So now we only have our 3rd event, which is the famous bus. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go back into our input handler, and after line 18 we can just go down and we're gonna do else if equipped dot value is equal to 2 and script dot parent dot character colon find first child. We're gonna get equipped dot value, and then, or no, I messed up. That's just supposed to be 3. It's not equal 2. It's equal 3 because we just coded our 2nd event. So make sure it says 3. All right. So now we're gonna set our bus cooldown. So we want the bus to have a lot bigger than this cooldown. So local cooldown is going to be equal to, let's set it to 15. All right. So we can only use the bus once every 15 seconds, right? And they're just gonna fire the event. So event colon fire server. We're gonna send the equipped, right? And then we're just gonna disable the script for the cooldown. So script dot disabled is going to be equal to true. I'm gonna wait our cooldown, and script dot disabled is equal to false. Alright, so now this should fire the server and send the event to our ability handler, which we'll code right now. So after line 12, we can do else if equipped dot value is equal to 3, then, and here's where it gets complicated. So our bus is going to be tweened from point A to point B. It's going to run over the map, depending on the position of the player, and hit all the players in its way. So we're going to do local tween time in seconds, by the way, is going to be equal to, let's just do 2. So this is just the time you want your bus to take to go across the map. Alright. And we're going to do local distance from player. It's going to be equal to, let's just do 12. So what this does is it just makes sure that the bus doesn't spawn directly on the player. The bus is going to be to the side of the player because you don't want to kill yourself with the bus. That'll just be stupid, right? We're going to create a variable for tween service. So local tween service is going to be equal to game colon get service. We're going to get tween service. And then we're going to get info. So local info is going to be equal to tween info dot new. We're going to get tween time, comma enum dot easing style dot linear. Of course, you can change it to any of the easing styles that you want to, but linear is just the best one for the bus, in my opinion. Alright, and then we're going to do comma enum dot easing direction. Alright, and then we're going to do dot out, comma 0, comma false, comma 0. Alright, so we're going to set a variable for the humanoid root part. So local humanoid root part, alright, for the player is going to be equal to char dot humanoid root part. Alright, so now we need a bus So we're gonna just go ahead and create a bus. I forgot to do that earlier, so I'm just gonna go ahead and speed this up. Alright guys, I've made my bus, if that's what you want to call it. I know it's kind of weird. Okay, I'm not exactly the best car designer, okay? But what you're gonna do is, once you're done, you're gonna anchor it, alright? So make sure everything is anchored. And we're also going to union it into one part. So if we open the modeling tab, we already have it open, we're just gonna click on union, which just makes it into one part. We can rename our union to bus, and we can just go ahead and move it to server storage. Alright, server storage right here. Back to our ability handler, we're going to create a variable for the bus we just made. So local bus is going to be equal to game.server_storage : wait for child, and we're going to get the bus. And create variable for clone bus. So local cloned bus is going to be equal to bus : clone. We're going to set the parent. So clone bus dot parent is going to be equal to workspace, and we're going to set the position of it. So clone bus dot position is going to be equal to humanoid root part dot c frame dot position. Alright, we're going to do plus vector3 dot new. I'm going to do bus distance from player. Oops, where is it? Distance from player, okay. Distance from player, comma 0, comma, and this is where you're going to set a distance from the player as well. So we have the distance from player right here, which basically means how far is it going to be off to the side of the player, but this is going to be like in front of the player. So
Basically, if the player is right here, we don't want the bus to spawn in right here. We want the bus to spawn in all the way over here, alright? And then it's going to run through the map and get the player, alright? So that's basically what we're trying to do right now. Instead of having the bus spawn right here, we want it to spawn over here and then ram through the map, alright? And get all the players in the way. Our position, how far away we want the bus to spawn in, which will also affect the speed of the bus. The farther away it goes, the farther away it is, the faster the bus will be. The closer it is, the slower the bus will be.
So I am just going to do 200 studs because I found it's a good number. So local ending point, because we need the bus to stop somewhere, it's going to be equal to instance.new. We're going to create a part, right? And we're going to set the parent of it to workspace. So this is just creating a part. It's just going to be where the bus will end. We're going to do ending point dot anchored equals true. Ending point dot transparency is going to be equal to 1. Ending point dot can collide is going to be equal to false. So now we're just customizing our ending point. Now we're going to set the position of it to be negative, the same amount right here. So we can do ending point dot position is going to be equal to humanoid root part dot c frame dot position. And we're gonna do plus vector3 dot new distance from player, comma 0, comma, and then we're just gonna get the same number that's up here, alright, which is 200 for me. We're gonna do negative 200, alright? So the same number that's up here, but negative. So then we're going to tween the bus. So local tween is going to be equal to tween service colon create. And we're gonna get the clone bus, comma info. I'm gonna add in a comma after info as well. Then we're gonna do pointy brackets. C frame is going to be equal to ending point dot c frame, right? And then we're just gonna play the tween. So tween colon play. We're gonna wait the tween time, and then we're gonna destroy the bus in the ending point. So by the time tween time is over, the bus will be at the end, and we don't need the bus anymore. So you can do clone bus colon destroy and ending points colon destroy. Alright, so I gave myself some slaps, and if I click E, you see that the bus spawns, although why is it being wonky? So if the bus is wonky, like my bus was, you're going to figure out which direction it's coming from. So my bus is coming from this direction, and it's ending this way. And what we're going to do is you can see that the bus is not facing the correct way. So what it's doing is it's going like this to get to the ending point, and then turning around at the end. So if that happens, you're just going to find a point that it starts at, and you're going to rotate it to face the correct way of the map. So that way when it plows through the map, it's going to do it in a straight line. Alright? So that's what you do if the bus is being wonky. So you're going to move it to workspace and rotate it the correct way. Right? And then once you're done, you can go ahead and move it into server storage again. I gave myself slaps again. And if I clicked E, this time the bus comes through in a straight line. But there is still one problem. When you click E, you just go through the bus. Like it doesn't throw you anywhere, which is what we're gonna do now. So in the bus in server storage, you're gonna go ahead and find the bus, and you're gonna add in a script, which we can go ahead and rename to Knockback. All right. So we're gonna do a script dot parent dot touch connect function hit. So we're gonna check if whatever hit it is a player. So if hit dot parent find first child humanoid, then we're gonna create a variable for the humanoid root part. So local humanoid root part is equal to hit dot parent find first child humanoid root part. Alright, so now we're gonna set some variables, some more variables. So we're gonna set the force power, so local force power, and this is how strong you want your force to be. So for me, I'm just gonna do 200, and we're gonna set the force time, which is how long the force is applied to you for. So local force time, and I'll just do 0.75 seconds, because again, this is in seconds. Alright, and then we're going to set our minimum rotation, because our player is going to rotate. Alright, so local minimum rotation is going to be equal to 1, and local max rotation is going to be equal to 10. So what this is doing is whenever hit by the bus, you're going to rotate, and this is just setting how many times you're going to rotate every second. It's going to be a random number between your minimum rotation and your maximum rotation. Alright, so then we're just gonna stun the player character. So hit dot parent dot humanoid dot platform stand is going to be equal to true. So now we're going to create a force. So local force is going to be equal to instance.new, create a body velocity. And we're going to set the parent of it to be humanoid root part. I'm going to do force dot max force. It's going to be equal to vector3 dot new. Alright, and we're going to do 1, 1, 1 times math dot huge. So what this is doing is we're saying that the max force is infinite, so we can set the force to whatever we want to. Local direction is equal to humanoid root part dot c frame dot position. I'm gonna do minus script dot parent dot c frame dot position. Alright, we're actually going to put these in parentheses as well. And we're going to do dot unit. So I'm going to set the velocity of the force. So we can do force dot velocity is going to be equal to, alright, in parentheses, you can do rotation or direction plus vector3 dot new 0, 1, 0. Alright, and then we're going to do dot unit times force power. So we're setting the force to the force power. So now we're going to create a rotation. So local rotation is going to be equal to instance dot new body angular velocity. So this is going to do is it's going to create a rotation velocity, right? And then we're going to set the parent of it to be humanoid root part. We can do rotation dot angular velocity is going to be equal to vector3 dot new. We're going to do 1, 1, 1 times math dot pi, which is 1 rotation. We're going to do times math dot random minimum rotation, maximum rotation. What this is doing is it's going to make our player rotate a random amount of times between our minimum rotation and our maximum rotation. We can do rotation dot max torque. It's going to be equal to vector3 dot new 1, 1, 1. We're going to do times math dot huge. It's doing the same thing as this line right here. And then we're going to do rotation dot p is going to be equal to 5,000. So now we have our force applied. I'm going to wait for our force time. There you go. This is the amount of time, again, that our force is going to be applied to us. Then we're going to destroy our force. So force : destroy. And we're going to destroy our rotation. So rotation : destroy. And then we're going to unstun the humanoid. So we can copy line 9 and paste it right here. Hit .parent.humanoid. The platform stand is going to be equal to false. So now that I have my hand, if I were to click E, there we go, the bus spawns in. And if I were to get hit by the bus, I missed. If I were to get hit by the bus, whee! You can see it sends me flying off the map. And if you wanted to, you can increase the force time so you can go flying for longer. It's just so fun, just being hit by a bus and going flying. We still have one last thing to do, and that is to make our phone compatibility. Because we want our phone players to be able to use our abilities too. So in Starter GUI, you can add in a screen GUI, and you can rename this to event, or you can rename it to ability GUI actually. And then you're just gonna add in a text button, and you're just gonna make a GUI that the players can click on. Alright, so we have our button here. It's not exactly the best button in the world, but it will do. So in the button, you can add in a local script. So we're going to create a variable for the user input service, because we need to check if the player is on the phone. So local user input service is going to be equal to game : get service, and the get user input service. Now I'm going to check if they're on the phone. So local is mobile is equal to user input service dot touch enabled, just like that. So if is mobile is true, then script.parent.visible equals to true, else script.parent.visible equals to false. So what we're doing is we're checking if we're on the phone, and if we are, then the button is going to be visible, or if not, then it's not going to be visible. So you can do script.parent.mouse button one click, connect function, alright? And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go to our input handler all the way over here, And we're going to copy everything from line 6 to line 30. Alright? And we're just going to paste it in this script right here. But we have a bit of cleaning up to do. So first of all, we're going to delete this if key. So we're gonna delete the if key event, alright? And we can go ahead and delete this end. We can go ahead and delete this end, alright? And we can also go ahead and delete this end right here. Guys, you made a mistake. It's not touch ended, it's touch enabled. Enabled, there we go. And on line 12, instead of being script.parent, it should be game.players.localPlayer. Alright, so we can just go ahead and copy this and paste it right here, line 16, as well as line 24. So on line 16 and 24, instead of just being .localPlayer, you do .character. So game.players.localPlayer.character. Alright. So if we test it on computer, you can see it's not visible. But if I test it on phone, I equip my glove and click the ability, you can see that it plays the ability correctly. And it also works for all the other gloves. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been sitting here for over an hour and 10 minutes. So if you enjoyed, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are so close to 400 subscribers. Thank you so much. We might be there by the time I release this video. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!